wanted to do a little bit of an intro, or I guess maybe a background on how I've developed my ability to read tarot, in hopes that that would help other people also be able to read. I don't know that we really need to call in spirit, but I'm feeling the irresistible urge. Because you never know when inspiration will come from your spirit guides, right? I didn't even light the candles. All right, there. We got one going. Oh, we can get this guy too. So, I don't know if you were able to catch the, I think it was Pisces video that I did a couple of days ago, where I used the very first deck that I ever acquired when I wanted to get into tarot. This is the Green Witch Tarot. And I think being able to choose your first tarot deck is something that can be pretty critical in terms of your willingness to stick with it, as well as your ability to feel like you're learning over time. Because I think we all have the goal of not needing to rely on the book when you do a tarot reading. When I first started reading with the Green Witch Tarot, I, for years, had to reference the book. I'm looking at it right now. It's stacked up in the foreground. You can kind of see where the books are, but I think when you go through things in your life that help you to understand how vital it is to pay attention to your gut feeling and your intuition and look for signs and things of that nature, things like reading tarot without needing to reference the book will come more easily to you. I think another key component, though, is just confidence and the belief that you are tied to your spirit guides. So a couple of things have helped in terms of my confidence with regards to that. I think having a space that brings in components of things that make me feel connected to other people, things that make me feel connected to the universe, are all really helpful in terms of creating a space where I feel like I can actually pull in the message that Spirit is wanting for me to receive. So that's why I have things like, what's a good example? So this little box, this is called rose malling, when you have wood that is decorated like this. And it's a very Norwegian thing. I am more Norwegian than anything else, aside from a pain in the ass. So definitely wanted to have Norway represented. I also have Freya. Things like this that, oh god, oh god, oh god. You guys, I'm going to spill everything. Things like this that can help you stay in the frame of mind when you're trying to do a tarot reading, so that you can really pick up on the energies that you're trying to read. So as far as actually selecting a tarot deck to start with, I think it's really important to try to find a space where you can actually look at the tarot cards in person. Obviously, online shopping has come really far, and you're able to see what kind of art, what the dimensions are of the cards, all of that if you were to buy something online. But there's something really magical about being able to look at a couple of decks in person, see which one you're feeling drawn to, and then selecting that one. That being said, if you do feel like you want to invest in multiple decks, I strongly encourage that. I think my development as a tarot reader really took off when I was able to leverage different decks for different questions or different subject matters. So, for example, I'm really a huge fan of this Intuitive Envisions 1111 is the person who sells this on Etsy, but the Situations deck gets you something a little bit more obviously situational because it's called situations, but a little bit more clear in terms of kind of like a modern spin on things. And I've found that when I use more than one deck, I can get a clear understanding of the message. That could mean that you want to look into different kinds of decks that still kind of align with the tarot, but have a different interpretation thereof. This is, oh God. Now I'm going to totally lose it. Here we go. I think it's Lenormand. So this is the fairy version of the Golden Lenormand. They call it an oracle, and they use like playing cards at the top, along with obviously some beautiful art. These I don't take out quite as often because of a few reasons, but what I wanted to really clarify is that it's important to try different things, because you're going to find that messages come through clearer for you with different channels, right? It's like when you're driving a longer road trip and maybe you, for whatever reason, you have to listen to the radio, and sometimes those stations, you know, they start to go out as you move further away, and then you start to pick up new ones. I would definitely say that that's how I view these tarot decks, and why I get pulled to certain ones over others during certain readings, because there's a message that is going to be much clearer for me if I use that particular deck. So as far as how to choose your first deck, I would strongly encourage people to try to find something that is close to the OG for your first deck as possible, because when you have that's the rider weight, by the way. By the way, I'm super punny and nerdy, you guys. Thank you for loving me anyways. I love you too. All right, so here's the rider weight. This is the OG because art and everything else is like pretty much based on this. You're gonna find tons of different options, but if you understand this is like understanding Latin and then trying to learn like 7 other languages. Everything just comes easier to you because you know where it started from. And it also helps you in terms of, let's get a good example. Being able to determine the differences in the art on a specific card versus the rider weight, excuse me, will help you understand what in particular about that card you are being asked to notice. All right, let's see if we can get the 4 of Wands out here too. I know, right? Almost fooled me, but it was the 6 of Wands. I'm going. There we go. So right away you can see there's going to be subtle differences in terms of like what kind of color scheme is there, right? Like, is there more of like primary colors? Is it more subtle? Is it more dark? Like, oops. This is like an IQ test. Like the Black Tarot. Subtle differences like just the colors chosen, as well as how the elements like the 4 wands are displayed, can give you clues. Like in this one, the non-OG, the Green Witch, I'm being more drawn to the fact that there is like abundance here that isn't necessarily love related, whereas the OG really does make me feel like this is a community or like a bond, a relationship. This seems to have a wider interpretation in terms of what that 4 of Wands energy actually looks like. and adds to it that there's somebody pouring from their cup into somebody else's cup. Just little nuances like that that can help you understand what message am I meant to read from this. And then once you do have, call it 2 decks, what you can do is leverage one deck to clarify the first deck. That's where you get those fun little messages that come through as a result of having the same card pop out twice. You pull 10 cards, 5 from 2 different decks. Statistically speaking, that's significant that you would pull the same card from a 78 card deck. Do you know what I'm saying? So I really do see a lot of value in having multiple decks in the same reading. Unless you're doing a shorter read, then I think it kind of interrupts the message too soon. So I guess I would probably put it at like a 5 card minimum before I would switch to another deck, so that you have like a full message coming through. There's going to be questions like who's involved, what's the situation, what do I need to know? And I feel like if you switch to a new deck too soon, you're interrupting that like sentence, right? You're only getting the first phrase or the first couple of words. Beyond just, selecting the right materials, having the right environment, having the right tarot deck, I think it's important to have some concept for yourself in terms of what naturally comes to you as a tarot reader. I have definitely spent my fair share of time watching other channels because I wanted to make sure that I had an understanding of what was working well for others and what differed from my approach. So I'm definitely going to be putting together a video where I talk about some of my favorite readers, so stay tuned for that in hopefully a couple of days. But I think one of the most important things that I would say to somebody who wants to get into either literally doing tarot reading on YouTube or doing so for their friends is you have to be confident in terms of defining the rules yourself on how you want to communicate via tarot, and trust and have confidence in your spirit guides to pick up on the fact that that is your approach or that is your framework. A good example of that would be how I approach hidden energy. When a card flips over but doesn't fall out, I've never really seen that that's how somebody else does it, but that's what came naturally to me. And early on, I had to just kind of learn that even though I hadn't learned that from anybody else, that if that's how I was viewing things, that's how my spirit guides would know that I was viewing them, because anything that I know, you bet your ass my spirit guides know. So little nuances, little like signals for me, symbols that may differ for other people but mean something for me, those are all things that I pay close attention to, even when I'm reading for other people, obviously, because those are still ways that my spirit guides acknowledge or understand to be effective ways to get an idea across when you can't just like send a text message, So I hope that little intro in terms of how I developed some of my skills as far as tarot reading is helpful to those of you that are also looking to do so. The most important thing is have confidence in yourself, trust in your intuition, and find a way to leverage the tools that are available to you in a way that clears up whatever message is coming through. I hope that helps. Have a wonderful rest of your day.